A couple of videos ago, I made a comment that I keep thinking about, and I'm like, fuck, was I wrong? But to my defense, to my own defense, I did mention that I haven't played every single fucking game in the world. So I don't know if there are more types of these games out there, but I wish they were. And man, was I wrong. I was talking about StarCraft and how that formula of bringing Stalker online and making it an MMORPG should be more widely copied because it's such an interesting formula that I feel like even non-Stalker fans would enjoy. Adding a semi-realistic, you know, PvP oriented, but not. It's just an aspect of it, right? PvP VE type games, which I have my beef with those type of games, by the way. Hopefully, I'll remember to talk about that. I think I will because that's it annoys me, but at the same time, I understand that it's a hard formula to get. But anyways, I said that I was on a StarCraft video, and I said that I wish there were more games like StarCraft where they took that formula, that Stalker Online formula, and made it into an MMORPG. And it turns out there's quite a few games like that. One I'm playing now, which is what this is all about, this whole video. It's Stay Out, right? So far I've played a few, right? I've played StarCraft, I played Stay Out, I played The Will to Live Online, and they're all different in their own ways, but they're all also the same. They all kind of share the same ideas, the same, post-apocalyptic, radiated fucking dogs. There's dogs all the time. There's dogs, just dogs. First mission, shoot dogs. After that, shoot more dogs. Go kill some boars. On the way to the boars, kill the dogs. There's dogs. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's like Russians, if they hate dogs, or if just the fucking apocalypse hate dogs. But there's always dogs, and there's too many dogs, and there's dogs everywhere. Dogs. It's cool to know that more and more people are copying this formula, but it's almost kind of weird that like all these games that I've named so far, well, actually, not, I can't say all these games. Three of them, which is Stay Out, Will to Live Online, and StarCraft, like, they're all free games, so they have that going on in common. They're all also, if they're free to play. That's what I meant to say. If they're free to play, then there's going to be microtransactions, and that right there is a controversial thing to talk about, especially in the U.S. From what I hear, other countries aren't so strict. But I do feel like microtransactions definitely should be regulated. And I'm not someone who's big on regulation. I'm not someone who's big, especially government regulation. But that has nothing to do with gaming, so I won't talk about that right now. Although it is part of life, right? And I do talk about life shit, but I'm not gonna sit here and get all tinfoil hat with you guys and Alex Jones the shit out of you. But I will say that I'm not a big fan of regulations because, for many reasons, they won't stop once you get a little bit of control. People tend to want even more control. They're just not going to go, oh, yeah, I think we've had enough control. I think, let me be a sensible adult and not continue, forcing my will upon these people. No, the people just keep going. They keep going with new things. And right. So I guess other countries aren't as big on microtransactions as the United States is, but I'm glad that in the U.S. you do get a big pushback when it comes to microtransactions. I, for one, don't really have a problem with it, right? As long as it's done correctly. Let me repeat that. I don't have a problem with microtransactions as long as they're implemented correctly. What is implemented correctly, or at least what it's my opinion of implemented correctly? Glad you asked. Two things. I follow two rules. One is as long as it's not intrusive. That's the first rule, and the second rule will be as long as it's optional, and is non-intrusive. So, meaning that like if you want to pay for stuff, skins, storage space, ammo, or potions, or whatever type of microtransaction you're playing, game that has microtransactions that you're playing, as long as it's optional and you're able to just buy it if you want, right, to support the devs or just because you want to kind of a leg up, like, all right, I need some potions, I don't mind paying a couple dollars. That's one, if it's optional. And then two, if it's non-intrusive, meaning that there's no paywall behind progress, right? If you have to pay to progress, Some because people who make microtransactions are very slick, right? They don't want you paying outright for it. They want you to buy this in-game currency, and you can only buy this in-game currency in certain amounts, right? You can't really pick your amount. Some games that have microtransactions let you pick the specific amount of how much you want to top up, right? But most of games are really smart. They'll be like, we only sell this in-game currency that you're going to use your real game money, right? We only sell them in certain bundles that have certain amounts. So if something that you want causes $1,050, we only have a thousand. We have $1,000 dollar or whatever their currency may be. We have $1,000 bundle, but then you'll have to pay for an additional $50 bundle in order to get that 1,050 to get that item that you want. It's very sneaky. That's not just micro people who make microtransactions fault. That's just business. I know some people don't want to hear that, but this is not exclusive to microtransactions or games that have microtransactions. That's business. People do weird shit like that in business all the time. And it's kind of smart. In a fucked up way because it makes you spend more money, and you'll buy your item and you'll still have all this currency left over, right? Or at least some currency left over. So now you're like, now you're getting tempted. You're playing a game and then you're looking at the currency and you're like, oh, I still got like 60 coins left. If I just top up and add my $5, now I'll have 100 coins and I can buy myself this armor or this gun or whatever. If I don't mind microtransactions because obviously there is good to this, right? Microtransactions can further help develop and fund the game that you enjoy playing. Right? So that's a plus, right? You want the game to continue to be a thing. You want the servers to continue to be running. Well, guess what? It takes money to run servers. So therefore you need to support these devs somehow, some way, right? If you enjoy the game, right? If you don't, then you tried it, it's free, wasn't your thing, you move on. And also, like I said, it needs to be optional. There has to be no paywalls. Like you shouldn't be restricted from a game mechanic or an area or a specific something or some place that you need to go, and you can't access that unless you pay. Now that's egregious. Did I use that word right? I think it's with an E, right? It starts with an E, egregious, or is it? It starts with no. It starts with an E. It doesn't feels like it starts with an A, but it's fucked up, man. That's what I'm saying. Like you shouldn't do games like that. And I always think of mobile games, right? These fucking little no-name developers and corporations. You go online and they're just filled to the brim with these fucking terrible games that pay if you want to respawn immediately or wait a fucking half hour. Like it's ridiculous, man. But as long as people pay for them, they're gonna exist. So that's a thing. But that's my viewpoint on microtransactions in general, right? Just as long as they're not intrusive and as long as they're optional, I don't have an issue with them. Um, I don't give a fuck if the developer takes the money and buys himself a new house or, gets himself some sneakers or treats his wife out to dinner or husband out to dinner or whatever. Like, I don't give a shit. If I enjoy the game, I enjoy the game. I have no issues whatsoever supporting it. I know there's some people out there who don't feel that way. It's a free game, so everything should be free. You've got people that actually think like that. We call those people retarded. So, moving on, I do wish that these games kind of like didn't have that model. Like I said, Stay Out, Will to Live Online, StarCraft, they all have that free to play model, and I don't know. I don't mind paying full price for a game and kind of just having some microtransactions thrown in there. Like if you want to, I don't know. I guess it must be a. I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, but I guess it must be a different country type thing. I don't know how things run in Russia. I know shit's crazy over there right now for obvious reasons. But maybe over there in Russia, from what I hear, they're way more relaxed. At least that's what I hear in like Steam comments and stuff like that. I don't know how true that is, but people have been saying that in Russia, they don't really bitch about microtransactions. It's not really a problem. Like they don't mind paying. And I was like, okay, I don't know how to feel about that, right? Because half of me is like, oh, that's cool that they don't bitch. Because I'm a fan of people who don't fucking complain all the time. So bravo to that. Bravo to the Russians, apparently. But also, I don't want to fucking pay for everything all the time, right? So it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, it's cool that you're not bitching, but also it's like you're also just paying an arm and a leg for everything all the time. Like it's literally a pay-to-play thing for you guys, and it's like, that's not cool. I don't want to do that. I don't know. Now I was thinking about earlier. I mentioned a comment. I said MMO, not MMO. PvPvE, those games. My God, I've been thinking about this a lot. I was gonna make it an entire video actually, but I kind of used Stay Out as a little segue into what I really want to talk about. Haha, I tricked you guys. Tricked you. No, I'll talk about Stay Out. As a matter of fact, let me talk about Stay Out first before I get into this whole PvPvE thing that just no matter how hard developers try to get, they just can't nail it because the second you give the ability for a player to kill another player, that player is always going to kill that other player. Do you know what I mean? Like that PvPvE game that you touted as work together. Bullshit. All right. The second you can kill another player, you're going to kill another player. That PvPvE game turns into a PvP game that's going to cater to PvP players, right? Because the PvE elements take a back seat the second you know you can kill anyone at any time, at any place. So it's a formula that I feel developers are always going to have a hard time with, right? You've got games like StarCraft out of the three, at least out of the Will to Live Online, Stay Out, and StarCraft. I think StarCraft does it the best, but it's not perfect. Sometimes I'm getting murdered by higher level players, but that doesn't happen as much. Most of the time, they try to match you up with players who have the same equipment score as you, so you have some sort of a chance to beat that encounter. And I like that. You know, they're trying. It's not a perfect system, but I think it's the best one out of the three games that I've played so far. I know there's more PvPvE games like Escape from Tarkov, which I haven't played yet, by the way. I'm almost scared because the game looks so addictive, man. It looks so fucking cool, man. But I'm not crazy about the whole losing all your loot thing. I feel like that kind of destroys the sense of progress and it makes me not want to play the game. I know other people feel different, but that's me. I want some sort of a progress, right? Like I want to make sure that if I'm playing a game for 5 hours, I don't want to just die, start at the beach like in DayZ with nothing. And I'm like, okay, that was fun. So I just keep repeating this process. Just, did I get anything from this? Did I gain any skill points? Anything tangible that I can take with me that I can. It's like, nope, you just start fresh from the beginning. And it's like, okay. Because sometimes you die is not even your fault, right? That's what fucks me up. If I engage in a fight and I die, I go, all right, I asked for that. But if I'm just chilling, fishing, and camping, or fucking building, and someone snipes me from far away, that wasn't my fault. And this goes back to like, if you can kill a player, you're gonna kill a player. You're gonna KOS. It's gonna run rampant in any game that starts off as a PvPvE game. Right? It's gonna turn into a PvP game. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's been with pretty much any game you can think of. Work together. Bullshit. It's only like a small percentage of players that actually work together, band up, hang out, and all that. Most of the time, and if you do band up and hang out with other players, you're gonna band up and hang out to go kill other players. So it's like, oh yeah, we can work together to kill other players. It's like, okay, so it's still a PvP game, right? The PvE elements have taken a backseat. It's frustrating, but also I understand why it's a hard mechanic to nail, right? Because how can you gel all that together cohesively? That's hard. Stay Out is a weird game. Weird but good because like it is fucking slow. It feels like a slug, right? I don't know why I like the graphics. They're definitely dated. I'll tell you that. They're not terrible graphics, but they're dated. They feel like something that came out like 10 years ago, right? Which if I'm not mistaken, this game did come out like 10 years ago. It was originally called Stalker Online, right on the nose, right? And then it eventually turned into this Stay Out. I think it got bought out by different developers. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I like the atmosphere of but that's my biggest complaint. And also dogs. Once again, you get the mission, kill dogs. It's like, okay, you kill a few. You're like, that felt good. Gunplay felt pretty good. I liked it. I like the mechanics of this game. I like it has some survival aspects. I like the fact that there's other players running around. Makes you feel like you're just not lonely out here in this world. There's a lot about it that I like. It reminds me of DayZ when it comes to like the gunplay and all. A little more jankier version of DayZ. Yes, someone actually managed that. and it just it feels good overall, but it's so goddamn slow, man, that it's like it turns a lot of people off. I can totally understand why Stay Out is not as popular as it should be. I do feel like they just need to do something to just bump up that those first few hours. The first few hours don't really feel rewarding. They feel like they're building up to something bigger, right? Which only, in my opinion, a small percentage of people are going to be enamored by that. People like me, people like my older friend, who is also playing this game and is very much enjoying it. Like me and him, we're old school, so we grew up with single player games that we know take a while to build up into something awesome, right? But the first beginning stages of the game, the first few hours are going to suck because that's when you're most vulnerable. You don't know the game mechanics, you don't have strong weapons or armor. You're getting murdered by everyone. Everything is it's just more hostile and dangerous because you're a hatchling, right? But we do know that if we stick to it, right? Old school single player uh video game enthusiasts like me and my friend, for example, like we know that if we stick to it, games like Fallout 3, games like Oblivion, or any other Elder Scrolls Oblivion, or any other RPG, we know that if we stick to it, it'll be a big payoff, right? Stay Out appeals to players like that, in my opinion. It appeals to players that know that if they put hours into this game, eventually it will become what they want from it. It will become fun. But here's the kicker. Drum roll, please. Who the fuck wants to put a bunch of hours into a game before they finally enjoy something? I was telling my friend, the one that I was just talking about, the older guy, good dude, man, and he was telling me, sorry, I was telling him like this game reminds me of those people that go, "Oh, just watch the first season is terrible of this show, but watch the first season because by the second season it starts getting good." And I'm like, okay, if the first season sucks and it has like 12 episodes and each episode is like an hour long, you want me to watch 12 hours of shit before I watch a few hours that are good? That doesn't make sense to me. You want me to torture myself with something I don't like and then eventually get rewarded with, it sounds like exercise, right? Torture yourself for a while and eventually. All right, I'm not going to get all philosophical on you, but I'm just saying that it appeals to people like me that actually want to sit here and grind, right? I don't have a problem with grinding. Grinding is another thing. I can make a whole other video on grindy. I've never heard that until recently. This game's too grindy. And I'm like, that sounds like when I hear grindy, it sounds like someone going like, I don't want to put any time into this game. I want to be rewarded immediately. That's what I hear. That's what it translates to me. Is there such thing as too grindy? Yes. Yes, there is. But like understand what type of game it is. Is it a MMORPG? Okay, well, yeah, bro, it's gonna be grindy. These games are designed to keep you playing for like ever. If it's like a single player game and you say it's too grindy, then okay, then maybe you got a case. But I feel like that term has been thrown around too much by a bunch of people who just want to be satisfied immediately. So that's why I got a big problem with this grindy word. Of course, that's not always the case. There's always outliers. There's definitely games out there that are a little too much and they need to tone down the components to get to where you got to go, whatever the case may be. I was playing with three people one night, my older friend and then my other friend, and we were all playing Stay Out. And then one of my friends was like, "Fuck this." You know what I mean? Like, and I wasn't even mad at her. Like, I was like, I get it. Like, she played for I think almost 4 hours or about 4 hours, which I feel, of course, is nowhere near enough to make a proper judgment on an MMORPG. Any MMORPG, you gotta sink some serious hours before you get to the really rewarding stuff, right? But okay, now now we've reached the point in the conversation where it's like, okay, we got to dissect things, right? Like, how many hours must you play a game before you can say, fuck this, right? There's no magic number. Everything is so subjective. So you got to make your own rules, right? This is my rule. Take a swig of this. My rule would be 2 hours. I feel like you can play a game, and mind you, let me be very clear. What I'm saying is 2 hours should be enough for any game for you to be like, not for you to make a full total judgment. That makes no sense. 2 hours is not enough. But 2 hours is enough for you to go, okay, I see the mechanics of this game. I see the storyline. I see the graphics. I see the gameplay in general. I hear the music. Like, there's enough. Sorry, someone's texting me in the middle of, who's this? Oh, speaking of the older guy. Excuse me. Um, I keep calling him the older guy. It sounds weird. Sounds like I got a sugar daddy or something. Um, I don't want to say his name, obviously, for private reasons, but he's he used to be a coworker of mine, and he has a big love for video games or whatever. Drives me crazy sometimes with his play styles and his choices, but good dude. Anyways, so she played Stay Out for a few hours. I think it was like 4 hours before she finally said, "All right, this is enough. Like I don't, I'm just shooting dogs," and it wasn't even running well neither, so that didn't help neither. Right? It was running at like 30 frames per second. Something's wrong. I think I got to mess with her. She's not really tech savvy or PC gaming savvy. She is. She knows what she's doing, but when it comes to settings, she gets a little like I don't know. I need help on that, and so do I. I'm no fucking expert, but I do know a little more than she does. So the game wasn't even running well in the first place. And then at that, she wasn't really having that much fun. She was just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This is like, um, it's boring. I don't know why it took me so long to think about that word. It's just so basic. Yeah, but it was boring. That's basically what she said. And I'm like, look, I'm not even mad. You can delete it. Like, I can't say what. How am I gonna sell this game to her? Don't worry. Play for 25 hours, then you'll have fun. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, okay, totally. You know what I mean? Like no one's going to do that shit. Well, except for a psycho like me or a psycho like you that's probably playing this game now. You fucking psycho. We're psychos. But all jokes aside, I really do think it takes a player like us, a player who's known to like we've been trained by these single player games, these single player RPGs that we know the good shit is coming. Just hang on. So this is Stay Out screams that, right? Because I see PvP. PvP looks fucking awesome. I'm not really a big PvP guy. I don't mind it if it's implemented correctly. I just can't play a PvP game outright. Like if that's all we're doing, just drop it. You're dropping us stuff. I've said this many times already. At least I think so. I can't remember. I'm getting old. If you just drop me off as some sort of a sandbox and you just let me, we all just shoot each other silly for hours. To me, that's like fun for like an hour or two. After that, it's like all right, I want to go do other stuff. I want to explore. I want to, there's so many things I can do. There's so many games that I can play, but I'm here just we're just beating each other silly for hours. It's like I can't do that. Like I gotta have some sort of progress. But I'm not hating on anybody who does because it's fucking fun. Games like Counter Strike, Apex Legends, Valorant, Finals, Counter Strike. All these games are. I think I said Counter Strike already. All those games are awesome, man. Like I don't have a problem with them, except the fact that it's like how that shit's gonna get boring after a while, And not only that, every time there's PvP, there's cheaters. That's any game, right? So it's like that. That's not fun, right? If you're playing a PvE game and someone else cheats, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like it's not affecting you really, but of course I mean that in a funny way of you don't want somebody to exploit and cheese the game to the point where it fucks it up for the rest of us because that's how it usually is, right? Even if it's a PvE game, right? Someone's going to do something, cheese the economy or cheese a certain boss or cheese a certain item, learn how to duplicate shit. Next thing you know, they patch things up and then fuck it up for the rest of us. Whatever. What I'm trying to say is that I've been playing, I don't even know if I told you how long I was playing Stay Out. So far, it's been almost 10 hours, right? And after I finish recording this video, I'm going to jump on, preferably with my friend who just texted me now, and I'm going to give it even more time, right? Because I do feel like there is a game there. The atmosphere is awesome. It's very DayZ-ish in the sense that it kind of feels realistic, kind of, not really, because when you die, you don't lose all your immediate shit. To my knowledge, you just lose some things. You lose some items. You don't lose all items. So obviously in DayZ, you lose everything: your guns, your armor. I don't think you lose your guns and your armors here. As a matter of fact, I didn't. But then again, I was kind of in a starter zone, so I can't really explain how that works for the rest of the game. But It is a game that's interesting and it's brimming with potential. Is it outdated a little bit? Yeah, you got to keep that in mind. It's not a fresh game like that. It does feel a little old. It's definitely janky for sure. Enemy animations, your animations is definitely like a product of something that came out 10 years ago because it did came out like 10 years ago to my knowledge. I think this game came out in 2013. Whatever. Point is that you can see it does. You don't have to dig deep when you play Stay Out to see that it's got potential. To see that it has something rewarding on the other side. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm gonna give it another shot. And maybe I made this whole video for nothing because I'll play this game for like another few hours today and go fuck this, and then delete it off my computer like my friend. So I will say, if this means anything, out of the three games that I've played so far, I think StarCraft is probably the one that's up my alley. She enjoys playing StarCraft with me. I like playing StarCraft. I feel like when it comes to PvP VE, StarCraft gets it the best. Gets it better than Will Online, better than Stay Out. I feel like the PvP VE is the best in StarCraft. Is it perfect? No. Are there going to be gankers and people who use choke points to just kill noobs all the time? Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you going to get murdered by a higher level player that you have no chance of beating? Yeah, it happens from time to time. Maybe my attitude towards it, like I came in knowing that that's what's going to happen. Right? I've seen videos of StarCraft, before I played it, and I was like, okay, if I'm play this game, I have to understand that I'm going to die. And I did, and I died many times unfairly, and many times I didn't. And there's been times I killed players, and it was a sense of exhilaration, right? So it's like I got rewarded for it too. It wasn't all pain and suffering. And I guess what I'm saying, if you decide to play these PvP VE games, understand that you're gonna get ganked from time to time, right? You can get mad and write long Steam reviews about how much you hate this game and how you don't recommend it, even though you played it for 1,530 hours. Don't get those people. Those people are clowns. But that's the way it is. That's just that's life. But understand what you're getting yourself into. Don't keep your expectations like realistic, right? Be like, I am gonna die. That there's no if, ands, or buts about it. And I am gonna die several times or many times when it's not even my fault or unexpectedly by someone who's an asshole. That's going to happen in any game, right? That happens in any game where a player can kill another player. There are going to be assholes. Like this isn't exclusive to StarCraft or any other PvPvE game or any other PvP purely PvP game. I feel like there's something here in Stay Out. It's a little janky, it's a little outdated, but there's something here, and I want to uncover that something. Maybe it's me being stubborn. Maybe it's me being trained by other single player games. Even though this isn't a single player game, this is an MMORPG. It feels like a single player game. It feels like I have to progress before I can actually enjoy myself. I don't know. It's got this allure that only, I don't know, ridiculous people like me can understand. People who are stubborn and who want to continue playing the game knowing that things will get better. But I don't fault anyone who plays games like these and go, fuck that. I'm not going to spend hours of my life before something gets. I get it, dude. I get it. I do feel like, honestly, there should be like NPC bandits, like armed AI that can shoot you. That way you could at least have something new other than a fucking dog that you kill all the time, or boars or four-legged animals of some sort. There should be something that shoots back at you and makes the game a little dynamic. Yes, you can say that the players in the game are those dynamic things, right? What's more dynamic than another player shooting at you, right? True. Good point. You got me. However, it would be cool to have NPCs also, right? Where you can just loot them for cash and you can do missions like go to this particular area and kill five bandit AI guys. You're like, oh, cool, man. I just want to go hunt with my friends. I can get some friends together. Me and him, we can go and shoot some bandits for some rewards from these missions, whether it's cash, whether it's bullets, whether it's guns. Like, I would like to do that. And I feel like Stay Out would benefit greatly from that, especially in the beginning to kind of keep players engaged because killing dogs and four legged animals, they get stale very quickly, apparently. Uh, I know that there's more enemy types in. There's quite a lot of more enemy types in there from when from what I've seen online. So humanoid characters, humanoids aren't the same though, man. I mean, they kind of scratch that itch of shooting another NPC, but nothing feels better than shooting another player, man, and then watching them ragdoll and die and then looting them. That's so satisfying. So satisfying. Shooting a dog and looting them, it's not the same thing, man. It really isn't. But it's an interesting mix of Stay Out is an interesting mix of like survival mechanics, PvP, PvE. Storytelling is hit or miss because it's Russian, so it's been translated, so not everything lands correctly. But overall, it's pretty good. It's pretty understandable, at least to me. Will to Live Online's translation is abysmal. I'm letting you know that now. If you guys decide to play that game, it's comical. It's so bad it's comical. And I'm not saying this to insult them because they're doing their best. English is not their native language, man. It's fucking hard, man. It's fucking hard to learn another language. So they're trying their best. Cut them some slack. I know I am. But it is funny as shit to read those translations because I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? It's worth it though. Will to Live Online is much more faster paced. I think they're all fun in their own way. StarCraft, Will to Live Online. I know there's probably more. Once again, I've said this in the last video. I haven't really thoroughly checked, but I know there's other games that are probably close to this that are just as entertaining or share that Stalker universe or whatever. I'm open to them. This free to play thing, it's kind of weird, but I'll still do it. I don't mind pumping money into a game that I enjoy as long as I don't have to. We've been through this already. But I guess I'll if I remember for the next video, I'll keep you guys updated on today's progress to see if this stay out game was worth it at all. Or if it was just me being stubborn. I do hope it's worth it because it'll be cool to sink some time into an MMO that I really enjoy, even if it's pretty obscure. Um, with that said, see you guys next time.